Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about We Need to Talk About Kevin. And this movie came out in 2011, directed by Lynn Ramsey, starring Tilda Swinton and Ezra Miller. And this is a film that has been on my watch list for quite a long time, and I was looking forward to it, and it was just on Amazon Prime. I was like, perfect, I'll check it out, first chance I get. Going into this movie, all I really knew about it is that it was disturbing and that there are things about it that really stick with you. That's what I got from this movie, and I was really hoping for a unique experience and, something that would just be good with depressing vibes. And I got that for the first 30 minutes, but after that, it just really started to lose me, and overall, I really did not like this movie, and I guess I'll just get into it. The movie was well shot. There were certain shots in this movie that did look pretty cool. The opening shot I really liked. It's like a tomato festival or whatever. That looked pretty cool. And the characters were interesting and well established in the first 30 minutes. And that's really the best part of this movie is the first 30 minutes are very solid, and it hints at everything that has happened because it's taking place after this event happened, and really showing you how these characters are dealing with all of that, and that stuff I really enjoyed. And I liked how information was being presented, and I thought Tilda Swinton did a really great job in this movie. There was some good acting in this movie, like John C. Reilly, he wasn't bad in the movie. And I also did enjoy how our main character, Ava, was miserable the entire time. I thought that made her character kind of interesting. And I also did enjoy how slow everything was for the first 30 minutes, once again, because it made things feel somewhat intense. Like, you don't know what's going to happen to our main character. Like, is someone going to mistreat her? What's going to happen? Like, you're kind of feeling somewhat paranoid as to what could happen. And if something does happen, it's handled pretty well. And that's all just in the first 30 minutes. The rest of the movie ruined it for me. I just had so many issues with this movie, like the grocery store scene. I was enjoying it for the most part, except for the broken eggs. Like, that was kind of dumb and could have been handled a bit better. But it was a small thing, so I can kind of let it pass. But what really surprised me about this movie, and I did not know this going into it, is that it's consistently cutting back and forth between the present and flashbacks, and then later on flashbacks, and it just keeps cutting back and forth everywhere, and there's nothing really that we gain from the story being told in this way. That was kind of odd. I don't understand why that had to happen, and it kind of ruins the pacing at points, and it just felt, after a while, like I was just wasting my time. And although I did enjoy Tilda Swinton and John C. Reilly in this movie, I really did not like any of the actors who played Kevin, including Ezra Miller, or even the child acting, and when it's the child actor and he doesn't talk at all, it was fine. But whenever he has dialogue, oh my god, I never believed one word that he said out of his mouth. I just felt like I was watching an actor. I was like, you really just don't believe anything that you say. And the entire time he's supposed to be just quiet, doesn't emote at all. And the way that all this is communicated and handled is just so goofy. I couldn't take it seriously. To top that all off, not only were the performances bad by all the actors who played Kevin, but also he's not an interesting character, nor is any character in this movie interesting, except for Ava, our main character, played by Tilda Swinton. She has something, at the very least, in the first 30 minutes at least, but after that point, it's like, okay, that kind of only goes so far with what we know. Can we have anything new happen? No. Nothing really new happens after a certain point, and the film was pretty grounded and felt very realistic and authentic, and had a great understanding as to how to handle all of these different tones and ideas that it's tackling. But as the movie goes along, after the first 30 minutes, it just gets cheesier and cheesier and cheesier to the point where I just can't take it seriously. And the moment the movie lost me was when Kevin started to talk. After that point, I just couldn't get into the film. And that was about 40 minutes into the movie. And for over an hour of the movie, I was just checked out, and I just could not take this movie seriously. And there were parts in this movie that I thought were laughably bad. It just got worse as the movie went along. And to move on to one plot hole that I have with the movie is that Kevin is doing all these different things that are just making him look like a bad kid. And he's constantly disrespecting his parents, but the parents don't really seem to care about this at all. And it's like, maybe you should probably ground the kid, but nope. His parents just never ground him for whatever reason. And also, the entire film was just repeating the thoughts that I already had and adding nothing new to them. Like, it kind of reminded me of American Beauty at points. Sometimes it reminded me of the killing of a sacred deer. Like, just everything in this movie just reminded me of better films that did things that this movie has, but just better and explored them so much better. And also what really hurt my experience while watching the movie as it went along is that it just had a poor understanding of what to show and what not to show. And I don't want to spoil anything, but the things that they show is just, that should not be shown. That should just be left up to the imagination of the audience. Like, oh, you can just interpret what's going on here. But nope, the film just has to show you it, and it's always at the wrong points, unfortunately. I also don't really consider this to be a spoiler, but I found it to be kind of funny that this movie is titled We Need to Talk About Kevin, and no one ever properly talks about Kevin in this movie. Like, I thought this was going to be taking a Jackie approach where they just talk about things that you already know, but from one character's perspective. I thought that was going to be the case, or kind of somewhat a documentary approach to this, but nope, it was just this. I don't exactly know what to call it. It's just this. And I know this is pretty nitpicky, but it kind of just made me think, you're not really paying that much attention to detail in this movie, which is kind of sad, because there are characters who are playing on a Nintendo 64, and you never really see the game, what they're playing, and it's kind of irrelevant. But the reason it stood out to me is that the characters are holding the controllers completely wrong. Like, they're not even holding the stick or whatever, the joystick. I don't know the exact terminology for it, but point being, they were just holding the controller incorrectly. And that really stood out to me. And that's about all I have to say about We Need to Talk About Kevin. It was kind of boring, very cheesy, frustrating. Had some good things about it in the first 30 minutes, but once we got to the 40-minute mark, that's when it went downhill for me and just never recovered. I want to say I hate this movie. I really do. But I like it enough to where I wouldn't say that I hate this movie. I would say I was heavily disappointed by this movie. And I don't think I'll ever watch this film again, sadly. So with all that being said, I'm going to give We Need to Talk About Kevin a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of We Need to Talk About Kevin, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.